come on in, have a seat. Why we gotta talk about this movie I just got finished watching? Antebellum? Yeah, let's talk. So, my husband and I love movies, and since we are still dealing with COVID-19, we're doing home movies, and I'm having to replicate the popcorn that I love so well by doing it myself. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about our date night movie of choice this week was Antebellum. So my husband is a horror film fanatic. I can't stand horror films, but as long as I watch it in the daytime or with him, I'm okay enough to at least go to bed. But this, I didn't need any assistance from. First of all, I'm the type of person that when I watch a movie, like I'm all in. I'm thinking of all areas, all aspects, all angles of the movie, and I just could not keep up. You know, you're on this plantation and you see this woman, and it looks like either her husband or her boyfriend or someone that she cares a great deal about. They're running, and they're running from the slave master. I'm assuming he's on a horse. He's trying to catch the both of them. Maybe they try to escape or something like that. And the woman's screaming, and you have this whole dramatic scene unfold before your eyes. The man is just crying and screaming hysterically, and you get glimpses of Janelle Monae's character in and out. So you kind of just piece together all of the pieces. They look around the same age, they're in the same atmosphere, so you can only assume that these three run together, that they're friends, and they made some type of attempt to run away too. Everything is going great, everything's fine. So the story keeps unfolding. We know that they are on a plantation. They did try to make some type of pact to run away. Janelle Monae's character gets sold to another plantation owner, and he kind of immediately becomes obsessed with her. You see him beat her and try to make her say what her name is, or what the new name that he's given her, since he's taken ownership of her, and she's very defiant. Crying hysterically. He brands her and puts his stamp on her back, and it just kind of unfolds like most of the traditional slave stories that we've seen before. Kind of reminds me of Django a little bit, with the dramatics of it all, but not as intense as say a Amistad or a 12 Years a Slave, to where it was so intense and it's so realistic you forget that you're watching a film. So it was more on the Django spectrum, which is fine. So you're going through the motions, and then before you know it, you're like 20 minutes in, and you're like, I'm not scared yet. And I don't see any of the little sneak preview teaser shots that they included in the trailer in any of these shots. Let me take a sip. Pause for the cause. So this is a new favorite. This I purchased from HEB. It's the Stella Mia Moscato d'Asti from HEB, and it's really, 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 really good. Is it comparable to my all-time favorite from Total Wines, the Bravada? A little bit, but it's still good nonetheless. So un momento. Thank you. So anyway, back to the movie. So you're in the movie, I want to say maybe 20 to 25 minutes in the movie, you're introduced to new characters. There's another young girl who's also a slave, who was also recently sold to the new slave master that Janelle Monae's character was sold to. They kind of talk and have a dialogue, and she's trying to beg Janelle Monae to help her escape. She tells her she's pregnant. And then you see them go down to like a big socialite dinner. Who on the surface is very timid and very shy, and they're having to, reiterate to him, they're here for your pleasure and you can do whatever. You don't have to be a gentleman, you don't have to be shy. But then he gets her alone and he turns into a monster, and we find out that he is familiar with her. That's already his baby that she's carrying, or at least that's my interpretation of it. In the middle of all of that, at some point, her character, like I said, the overseer that she was sold to has taken a liking towards her, and she's become his favorite slave. So, you see that he's married, but he spends most of his time in her cabin. So he's in her cabin, they're doing whatever he does to her. And then the phone rings. So I'm like, whose phone is that? This better not be a phone ringing off this movie that's supposed to be like in the 1800s or something. It's a phone ringing. Janelle Monáe is no longer a slave. She's in some penthouse with her husband and her daughter, and they are, well off. She's an author and a motivational speaker. And I'm just like, wait a minute, slow down, hold it, pump your brakes, get off the gas. You can't do me like that. Like, it was so funny because we're sitting there watching the movie and he's thinking what I'm thinking. Did Jordan Peele write this? Because this seems like reminiscent of something that he would do. I really loved Get Out. I love the overness of it, the extraness of it. I love the subliminal messages that basically could be left up to anybody's interpretation, and it would have worked on any narrative. So however you felt about the movie, or you thought the meaning of the movie was this, and I may have thought it was something else, either perspective would have worked on Get Out. However, on Us, yeah, no. Us was a big no, a miss. That was no, trash, garbage. Don't do that no more. So I'm like, the cell phone thing just really threw me off. So I'm like, okay, brain, let's not be, narrow-minded. Let's roll with it, let's think outside the box. So I'm like, okay, maybe that was a dream, or maybe she's embodying the soul of her ancestor or something. I don't know. I'm really trying to help you, because at this point, my husband's checked out. He's asleep, he's snoring, he's out of there. But I'm like, ain't nothing else to do, so I might as well, we in it now, let's get through watching it. We done, pay for the pay-per-view or whatever. Let's just watch it. So by Gabrielle Sidibe comes in, and she's super turned up, and she all out of control. And basically, the same character that she plays on Empire, she's playing on this. So, just that buddy, that professional girlfriend that's in your life, that's professional, but she's also a little ratchet, but she keeps it conservative. But she's also ratchet, but she's classy, but she's also ratchet. So that's this person. So you're like, okay, now I got to deal with her. Okay. Here, white women pop up, and they've got cell phones that they're planting in devices on, like they're spying on her or something, and she's getting weird phone calls. And then the little cute daughter is like, Mommy, I missed you. And then just out of nowhere, this weird looking zombie white girl shows up in the elevator. I'm like, why is she here? So it was just so much going on. We see the two overseers before they get locked up in the outhouse and set on fire. They look drunk, and they look like they're like disheveled, right? And they're going wherever they're going, I guess, to find the slaves that are rebelling. The phone rings again. This century, the phone stays ringing in the old time scenery, right? And then you see the phone, and then the guy says, they said no cell phones, remember? And so they have a dialogue about that. And so I'm really confused now. I'm scared. After all of this, I'm still not scared. I'm too confused to be scared. My brain hurts. Like I want all of that back. That whole, how long is it? An hour and 20 minutes? However long. I want all of that time back. Me prepared to be scared and to be doing all this under my man. And I didn't get a chance to do none of that because my brain is hurting trying to figure out what you thinking. Who wrote this? Jared Bush and Christopher Renz. My brain, those are the direct point, and I'm mad at y'all. I don't know who y'all are, where you live, but I want all of that back. That time invested in this movie. Oh my God, off on the horse, out of the trailer. So at the very, very end, you discover that it's a reenactment of of the war and of that time frame. But I guess it's a reenactment that they took way too seriously, and they tried to make those people permanent. There were subtle hints of subliminal message that I felt like, and I could be so far from the mark, but there was a lot of political stuff kind of sprinkled in there here and there. So we know that Trump's whole team, his motto is make America great again, right? And for us as African Americans, as people of color, we know that America was never designed for us. So therefore it could have never have been great for us because it wasn't meant, we weren't meant to walk in unison with whites or any other race for that matter. We were property. We were treated like property. We were treated like animals. So in my mind, the narrative that this movie was trying to push is that in some way or form or fashion, we want to get you back to that point where you were subservient, you were under us, we had control over you, and let that part of America's history spill over into present day, right? Whereas they meant for it to be a reenactment, it ended up being true to life. They were really holding these people in captivity and not allowing them to leave. So that's my brain of how that was interpreted, which in and of itself is really good. It was good, a good thought that at some point fell all the way off the wagon. I mean, all the way off the wagon. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen a movie that bad in a long time. That's just how bad it was. It was bad, y'all. It was just like, oh my God. And what really threw me off is that Janelle Monáe's character, her as an actress, she did such an awesome job on Harriet that I can't even, I need to go back and watch Harriet so I can reappreciate her acting skills, because this movie was just trash. I wasted my time. I could have been doing something else. Oh God. So anyway, I'm curious to know what you all thought about it. Another YouTuber, I forget her name, but the name of her channel is Pay or Wait. And I'm curious to see her review on this movie if she decides to do one. But yeah, I just was like, this is neither. This is not a pay nor a wait. This is just, don't even worry about it. If you leave this planet without never watching that movie, consider yourself fortunate. So that's all I have. Until next time, see y'all. Peace.